Third from bottle. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, cheers.
Yeah, cheers to
To
Mike in a Bottle resuming and Emna.
Yes, it's been a long time since we've got in front of this microphone. We had some fun events. My first Ramadan.
Yeah.
How did it
Kevin,
go?
Kevin was taking a break on the podcast because he was fasting like every day,
I was very
even at
pious.
night actually.
And praying.
I do fast. You know, you guys all make fun of me, but I technically fast every day, and I believe in fasting.
Yeah.
But you know, it feels like forced a little bit.
Do you do it for heaven though?
No.
Health
That might
purposes?
be like there's a lot of like science out now, you know, smart people talking about like intermittent fasting and like the benefits of it for you. So I'm like all about living longer, so
I
trying
mean,
it out.
if you're doing it anyway, why don't you get to heaven as well?
Good
The
point.
question, does he believe in heaven or not?
Well, I mean, look, if you do already something that gets you in heaven, and let's say you don't believe in heaven, but there's a slight possibility that heaven exists, you're already doing that.
So you think you do both? Like it's a 50-50 chance
You
at
just
the
hit on
end of the
both
day,
teams,
right?
you know?
Yeah.
If
You
you
know,
can
at
do-
the end of the day, we don't know if heaven
Exactly.
exists or not. So you do both.
Yeah.
But you party, you drink, you do all the
And you-
fun stuff.
And if you
and
find
you
yourself
fast.
passing in front of a mosque, you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
do a couple of prayers
yeah.
right now.
You know, one thing that I mean, I don't know, like again, a little bit into religion. What I think is so interesting is how similar everybody is.
How?
Right, like in
What do you mean?
like in the U.S., like there's a very strong, you know, a percentage of religious faith that do it just for the weekend,
Yeah.
absolve the sins, and then you're
That's
good.
true.
You did like your, you know,
That's
By the
brush
way,
off the shoulder. Bam.
we didn't introduce Emna, who's our guest today.
Yay.
Yes.
Funny story, Emna comes from her own podcast, which
Yeah.
is Eyes Wide Shut.
Promo.
You've got a few episodes out.
I have one episode.
Cool. It's the best episode,
You have one
honestly.
episode.
I was in it
yeah.
also, so that's why it's really good. And Emna too is in it, which is why it's also
It was
really
pretty
good.
fun. Talking about time traveling. I mean,
Yeah, we talked about time travel, about paranormal stuff, about how the Simpsons are able to predict shit before it happens.
oh yeah.
And that's some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, there's like quite a few YouTube videos about like how the Simpsons
Yeah,
predicted.
yeah.
But some people are saying no, they were recorded like after the things happened. But actually, if you go back and check, some of them are not. But if you look deeply into it, I mean, history repeats itself. That's one thing that we should take into consideration because they're not. I mean, they're not just thinking like outside of the box so much. They're actually taking things that happened already in the past and kind of predicting that they're gonna happen again. So that's how I see it, but a part of me wants to believe in time.
But don't spoil your podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wanna watch.
Back to religion.
Back to religion.
Back to heaven.
So I was gonna say right there, like the similarities I think exist. There's general similarities between all religions, in which they say to be good and not to be a dickhead,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, good advice really. That's easy to come by.
Yeah.
Anybody will tell you, just try not to be an asshole.
Yeah, you know, like I feel as people, we need to say like, be good or else,
Right.
right? You always need to have this little thing, fear, like lingering over you a little
Well,
bit.
different religions approach it differently. Like when you talk about Asian religions, when we talk about Buddhism or other similar religions, it's not really the punishment that's the motivation. It's
The
the
reward.
great reward if you do it well.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the what do you call it? Nirvana if you are really good at sex, for example. I'm just made that up. I don't know enough about Buddhism.
Yeah, that's
But I imagine.
dangerously close to religion.
Exactly.
Very close.
Exactly. So I
But
imagine it's like that.
do you think that the fact that we're doing good things because we want a reward is actually kind of
Okay, well,
Ethical, let's say.
Well, see, here's the deal. In the end of the day, religion takes a shot at explaining what happens after you die.
True.
I think everyone on YouTube these years has understood that, like some of these religions are not on solid foundation. Like we reference like some of the beginnings of religion, and we understand as we get like there's more like knowledge out there about the topic, that it's sometimes like the written doctrine is made like thousands of years after the events happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you run into the issue of like, okay, have you, like, can you write a story 1,000 years after it happened and expect it to be like relatively accurate?
Well, back then there was no alternative really for people's entertainment. I mean, you'd have battles in faraway kingdoms that a certain place would only hear about months later from a guy who sings about it and who has to rhyme. So if it says like fucking door in the previous verse, he's gonna say whore next because like it rhymes. It doesn't have to be accurate.
It's like the game of telephone through music.
Yeah, and like many religions, like in the end of the day, are not really there for the goal of explaining to you what happens after death. They're in the business of like kind of like nudging you towards where they want you to go.
Yeah.
Right, and they use several tools like the afterworld. Like, since I'm a religion, that's kind of my job to know what happens afterwards. So let me explain my version of it. Right. So in some religions, there's reward and punishment, whereas in some others, it's just reward.
But I think a big part of it is that us as human beings, we like to become part of a group.
Yeah.
We want to
That's
belong
okay.
to something, to believe in something.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I've heard? I can't say if this is true or not, but I've heard that, or people hypothesize in the U.S., like these movements like yoga and what else is there? There's yoga. There's like these online gaming groups where people get fanatical about, like just the needing to group.
Cults.
Yeah.
That's what the internet does better than anything else.
CrossFit, for example, is
Oh,
another
yeah.
one. CrossFit's another kind of like culture.
Anything, dude. Anything.
Yeah, anything
Stamp
like
collections, like sexual fetishes, like
Yeah, there's a
Astrology.
Facebook group for everything.
astrology,
Yeah.
magic. Like, there's
Anything
black
that
magic
unites
communities now. Like, imagine like black wizards from like 200 years ago thinking that like now there's like websites and shit, like games and videos about this stuff.
Yeah.
And every community is like is finding all of its members pretty easily now. And so all of these beliefs, all these belongings become stronger in
Yeah.
numbers.
Exactly.
Right?
I think it's also the sense of belonging and also like yearning for certainty. Because as a human beings, we don't wanna like be uncertain about things. We wanna like have certain beliefs and be certain that there's something exact that will happen after life or after death.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be like in this. Most of us don't want to be in this situation where like you're gonna die, but you don't know
don't know
exactly
if
what
it's for
will
anything.
happen, and this like unknown scares us. So we want to like have set beliefs that will happen. This will happen. This will happen, and that will happen, and this like gives sense of relief. Like you know exactly what will happen after that, even if it does not make sense. And this is like reassure us.
Yeah.
Like giving it purpose to
Yeah,
yourself.
it's like,
why you're here.
yeah.
Basically.
I mean, like, if you really look into it, and if you ask, for example, our parents, and try to have a conversation with them, that this belief and this belief actually do not add up and they don't make sense, they'll be very defensive and like, no, don't say that. No, like, this is what we know, this is what you're gonna believe in, this is what will happen.
But that's
You wanna,
that's like only really with a minority, I think, of the religious people, because the religious people that I've met generally, when they hear these logical contradictions, to them it does not sound like a contradiction.
yes,
To them, there's a perfectly good
yes,
explanation. And like,
yes.
this kid's play.
Yes, like this contradiction actually has a purpose.
Yeah,
God
exactly.
wanna do this contradiction
Disgusting.
because
They
like
believed in something all their lives. You
Yeah.
don't want to shatter that in a day.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
yeah.
can't-
If you
and-
build yourself,
You can't.
Yeah,
On these
and
two.
sometimes it's not really about testing, but like God knows better and this is
God
how
works in
life.
mysterious ways.
Yes, like
Yeah.
life is complex, so it's normal to
Yeah.
have all these contradictions.
In the end of the day, like we're not here to like bash religions, but I think what we're all getting at is that there's all these little parts of what religion is that not only attracts humans in a certain way, but makes humans believe in them so much. And that's the same thing that you find in cults.
Yes.
And there, like, I think it's a much better case study than religion. Because religions are like affected by so many different events and so many different people, so much history behind. But right now, especially in the US, we have like prime, beautiful examples of like all of religion's tools used at once in a very short timeline. And that's cults.
Yeah.
Because you need a guy
You
who...
talk about like evangelical.
You got a
Christians
wide variety.
Yes,
You
like-
go from like crazy people that believe that aliens are about to visit tomorrow to like the guy who touches your head and you're cured of AIDS.
Yeah, but there is like cults like they're like purely sexual. Like
And there's
the
murder
one-
cults too.
There is like the cult like with the guy who has like 65 wives.
Yeah.
He believes that God told him or like pushes him to have sex with like as many women as he can.
That's
And
how
of course,
that's how I would explain it too.
Yeah.
Like guys,
and
God told me.
they're all like of course beautiful young versions.
Yeah.
And like how he like and even like in
So
the
it's God's request.
like
Which kind of tells you about like the guy's lack of experience. He goes and asks for virgins.
not a good move.
and even like when he wants to have certain sexual practices, of course this like women or
He's
like
like,
this
"God told
girls
me."
Oh, yeah.
exactly
It's
these
like-
girls that come from very conservative background, so I don't know like what is sex for them, but purely like I think very narrow idea. So
Yeah.
like whenever he has like maybe weird practices,
Yeah.
it's like God pushes me. God
Oh, yeah.
came to me when I was praying and tell me to do this and this
Yeah.
and this. So this is for God.
Well, like I said, like there's many varieties, but at the end of the day, they do have all of these common points.
Yeah.
The leader will always have a harem, like a bunch of girls following
Yes.
him around.
A harem.
Yeah. They will always use messages of like compassion and self-upgrade and like making yourself like more in connection with the universe, and then they hit you when you're
Yeah.
like most connected to that
Yeah.
meaning that they put in your head.
Yeah.
That's when like they start with like the really crazy stuff, like we can all just eat some poison right now. We'll be absolutely fine because everybody else is gonna die by an
Yeah.
asteroid the
Yeah.
moment we eat that poison.
And also like this is not only in cults, even like Middle Eastern or Arab religious leaders, they have the same practices when it comes to like sexuality. And basically like a cult or like religious group, basically they do this in order like to sort of like how to say like feed or like satisfy some animalistic needs. Like
I feel like you're focused on sexuality.
yeah, no, like if
You're
you
like centered.
yes, because like if you like look back and I read like some articles and watched some reports about cults, and most of them like even if they don't mention the sex, but they have massive number of children from only one woman. Like,
One woman?
Like and
What?
like yes, so like from one woman they have like what 9 or 10,
She's on
and
the
from
roll.
the other woman 11, and like
Boy, like some children.
shocking.
Yeah, I guess there was no condoms back then.
In terms of protection, there is no
It's
protection.
not
Yeah.
about condoms. I think like a cult or religious leader, if someone is like just like
But okay, back then you didn't have to be like a religious leader to have 1,500 children.
of course.
Like everybody did that.
Of
That
course.
was the norm.
Yes.
Like everybody
Because
just,
there's like no pills, no like contraception,
yeah,
no
and they didn't have this
family
concept
planning.
of like not having children.
Yeah.
Like having children was the thing to do.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
purpose
Like, wanna
of
have
it.
dinner? All right, cool.
Right.
Now let's have some children.
Yeah.
You have superior genes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so that was back then, but now like
different.
now cults like they don't.
I saw
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
like-
one cult on YouTube. There was one YouTuber who was talking about this new
They
cult.
talk about cults on YouTube now.
Yeah, they
This
just
is how
have
I-
videos of doing
yeah.
Good question,
rituals on
Zach.
YouTube.
Yes, like they make reports.
From
got everything.
Goats on YouTube now. They have kids.
They go and interview like members who escaped.
Oh yeah. No, actually they were doing the rituals and uploading them on YouTube.
But I
Wow.
thought like cults are illegal and shit. Like, or how does this work?
No, it's religious freedom until you start murdering
It's
people.
pretty. I saw one video, but I don't
Religion
know.
until people start dying.
So they would like write stuff on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
The leader is this guy who thinks he's Satan, obviously.
Oh, interesting.
And they would just poke their fingers and try to bleed on it, make like sort of shapes. And the purpose of that is when you do that, so they believe that eventually there's gonna be like a big war where everyone is gonna die or whatever.
Armageddon.
Oh,
And-
we talked about this last time
Really?
on the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, we did.
So if you do that, you're gonna be one of the few people, which are, I think there are like 14,000 people in the world who like there's a limit of people who can join this cult.
Okay.
And then if you do it, you're gonna survive somehow. I don't know.
Like survive what? Survive wars or survive like even
This
tragedies?
kind of ending that's gonna happen to the universe, right? So you're gonna be among the chosen people who's gonna survive eventually.
Wow.
It's pretty daunting, but it was like a video of this guy who there's like I just discovered this recently, but there's like a smoking fetish.
Smoking
Smoking
fetish.
fetish.
Yeah,
How is
so
Explain.
so there are people uploading videos on YouTube just of them smoking. And you would go to the comment section and people are like
People
sexualizing it. You know,
Wow.
like, oh my god, it's so hot, I'm turned on, etc. One man actually
Hey.
died from.
Exciting.
You know what? Me and Ivan, back in China, we used to not fantasize about it, but we used to agree pretty much every few outs to like night outs that smoking women were really hot. When a girl smokes a cigarette, that shit looks hot.
Yeah.
Welcome to the cult. You can join.
I think I can join.
What is the what is
Where
the
do I
cult
sign
name?
up?
I don't know, but like I'm not sure, but it's like smoking cigarettes kind
But
of.
it doesn't seem like a cult. It sounds like
No.
a fetish. Nothing.
Yeah.
It is a fetish, but people are taking it way too seriously. There's this 14-year-old guy. This is how I found out. There's way back to like when YouTube started. He was smoking, uploading videos on YouTube, and then people would watch him die, literally. And then he died from cancer because of
Wow.
smoking. He did like outrageous smoking, not just smoking. He would
Oh.
smoke like 10 cigarettes
At a time.
at a time.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So people were influenced by him, and there was this 14-year-old guy who got into smoking and started uploading videos, and like young girls would be all over him. And he joined this cult, which
Young girls all over him for
Oh yeah,
smoking.
for
Wow.
smoking. Like,
Damn,
oh,
I've been
so
missing
hot.
out.
Like, do this and do that.
People, there's millions, maybe
I smoke
billions
Yeah, it's
cigarettes
a
without
that
fetish.
smoke
actually
with
watching.
no women.
It's a huge fetish.
Yeah.
But then he killed.
Oh, it always gets tricky.
Himself?
Oh yeah, no, not himself. He killed a girl who went to school with him,
Oh,
just
that's-
out of
Wow.
nowhere.
Like how?
But he had mental issues. I mean, he wanted
Oh,
to die.
you think?
Yeah, he wanted to die. He was smoking not just for the pleasure of it, but he was actually like he would take photos of the cigarette packaging and kind of upload it, like saying cancer, like this causes cancer.
Yeah.
This might kill you. It's like,
Now let me
oh
smoke
great,
ten
I'm gonna do that. So yeah, it's kind of scary that there are people like that.
Well, it's not scary that there are people like that. I think there was always weirdos in the history of the world.
Yeah.
But like we were
Yes.
saying earlier, the internet reinforces these
For
hidden
sure.
habits.
Yeah.
Because people are able to find out the others that are like
Yeah.
them. And when you see someone that's doing the same thing as you, even
Oh, yeah.
though what you're doing is wrong, or
I
you
think
assumed
for-
previously that
Yeah.
it may be wrong, you see another guy do it, and another guy do it, and 100 people do it,
Yeah.
and you're like, I guess it's not wrong. I
Yeah.
guess it's bad.
And I get like reinforcement.
And so that's what previous religions from like back in the day did not have access to that they
Yeah.
now do have.
Yeah, true.
Like you think to yourself, okay, a story from like 1,000 years ago was really popular, like let's say 500 years ago, and that's understandable. Back then there was not much, so it was a
Yeah.
mythical story from 1,000 years ago, getting popular. That's okay. But then you'd expect the year 2021, people are kind of mature, people are a little bit more woke.
More information available.
no,
right?
it's like
Yeah.
But
not necessarily.
these religions are having a big comeback now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big comeback.
Yeah.
Like there's so many more Muslim people than there were like
Yes.
back like 10 years ago. There's way more
Yeah.
Christians and evangelicals.
Yeah.
You see them like in the U.S. Like religious people are like
Yeah.
like teenagers and little kids now.
Are they?
Yeah. Have you seen a Trump rally?
Yeah, it's like
There's
Yeah, but
lots
I
of kids
mean,
there.
I think it's easy to look at like these demonstrations you see in black abortion. I mean, I can only speak for urban type of cities, but religion is like very dead in these type of places.
Yeah, but like look at what you're talking about. You're talking about middle of the city.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's
Right.
the asterisk I'm putting on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think in less modern countries like in Tunisia, like religion is having a big comeback. Like although like
Yeah.
we ourselves we know we're a minority in some way, and like we are able to look at it very critically, but the rest of the country just gets this flux of information that's directly validating whatever their parents tell them or
Yeah.
whatever the surroundings tell them. And so with the internet, you see in numbers of followers of pages, in numbers of shares, in numbers of likes, how many people agree
Yeah.
that this post is a good post that
Yeah.
says God is fucking awesome.
yeah. Sometimes just like saying like posting a verse of the Quran or
Yeah.
like something very simple, very like meaningless, but like you
Yeah.
find like 10k likes and like many shares
Oh,
and
probably way more than that
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
some cases.
Oh.
Yeah, there's.
Imagine if fucking Jesus had Twitter.
yes, like
Imagine that
My
shit.
guy would be
Yeah.
popular.
He would be dominating the planet right now.
He
Yeah.
would have the most followers.
yeah.
No Romans would have been able to stop him. Like
Yeah.
people would be streaming live. Look, they're fucking hanging the motherfucker. Look,
They're crucifying
Stop
me,
it!
yeah.
Oh man, people would really be pissed.
Yeah. I mean, like 1,000 years ago, it's like Jesus had like limited access to people to promote himself. What he has like a group, a small community.
But then again, you know, if you now let's think about the flip side. If you had 24-hour access to Jesus since he was like 10 years old, would he be interesting anymore?
No, no.
Yeah, he'd
We
be
have a
like,
short
he's like
span of
Jesus Christ, Jesus, stop taking this shit. in the back.
Come on, stop tweeting.
Jesus, come on, we know everything.
Stop the shit
Okay,
posting.
we get it. Taylor Swift is going to hell. We get it. Stop
So-
posting about it.
So this is actually something that's really begged my curiosity for a long time. It's like now that we have so much ability to broadcast ourselves and everyone can kind of look at everyone and like what they're doing in Russia, what they're doing
Yeah.
in China, wherever. Does that take away does it take away or add to our collective pool of
Yeah,
like is there gonna be another Nikola Tesla again, for example? Someone who's just like living
There's brilliant
in-
people all over the world, and now like they have
Yeah, but like fable type people, there's not
yeah.
many.
Like would be
what
like
Fable?
Fabled type characters like this.
What do you mean Fable?
Like Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, like people who revolutionized things. I think Elon Musk might be one
That's
of
the
these
thing.
people.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say that because we
yeah.
talked about it and we.
Like 200 years, 300 years later, when they say the word Elon Musk, what's that gonna mean?
Right, but Nikola Tesla fucking worked in a depot all by himself, like fucking literally making electricity with his
Yeah.
hands. Elon Musk has got an army of 400,000 employees, like doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just got to draw some shit on some paper or smoke joints, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, he said the word.
yeah.
Well, see, that's the question. Is like, which one is more or less? Like,
More or
like-
less what?
Like when you talk about Nikola Tesla, you think of it like you just said, working in his basement, you know, decades possibly, maybe
Yeah.
more, and then he had these like fucking crazy ass breakthroughs. Like who does that? Like if you have YouTube, that kills like your
I don't know, for some people, many people are creators on YouTube, right? So
Yeah.
those guys, some of them are really good at what they do. Like you find people who are, for example, one I know specifically is a guy that specializes in renovating old war items.
Wow.
Like he just finds them in random places around the world, on random markets around the world, and he puts them in front of the camera, and he's like, this is how we're gonna renovate
Wow.
this. Some other guy takes war rations from back in the day, and he eats them. Yeah, rations, food.
Wow.
From like 1956.
Oh
and he's
my
like,
God.
let's see how bad that got.
That's what I love about YouTube. You can find everything.
Yeah.
So like there's different types of
Yeah.
skill and talent
Yeah.
and different types of things
They all
considered.
matter.
And now with YouTube,
Differently,
we
but-
can see all of it.
Yeah, but do you think like nowadays with all these public figures and like influencers and all this, do you think that personality like Jesus or like Muhammad would be like still interested and relevant like among all these
If
public
he's got a
figures?
Netflix documentary, he would be.
Yeah, they should be like very like hip and like trendy and
The fame won't last
Like, what's
too
that?
long, but
Yeah.
big part of why people love them so much and appreciate them so much is that they actually don't have access to them. It's like this unknown thing, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
this mysterious
Yeah.
kind of figure that saved us or will save us eventually.
Like Kenny Reeves.
Another guy.
Can't
Yeah,
read.
like the that's true actually. Like the mysterious part that you have never like actually met him or like had a chat with him or lived with him. Like you can sort of attribute anything to his personality or like to his existence, and you can like fill in the blanks what suits you.
Because you don't have access. True.
Yeah.
We like things that are unavailable, like we
It's
human
human
beings.
nature,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's like-
Yeah.
I really believe that the prophets influence and impact back in the day came from one skill in particular, and that's storytelling. And now storytelling comes with obviously charisma, confidence, imagination, a lot of sub skills that are included into that. If you're good at storytelling, people will watch you, people will listen to you, people will
Yeah.
pay attention to what you do. The equivalent, in my opinion, of prophets nowadays is good TV shows. Like Game of Thrones is pretty much the Jesus Christ of 2018 or 2017 because the whole planet was tuned in. Like whatever happens there, you'll find people all over the globe talking about it.
And TikTok.
I would actually add another skill, emotional intelligence. And the ability, like, if you are emotionally intelligent, you know, like, how to play with, to understand human feelings.
I like how you switched there.
Yeah, to understand, like human feelings, what they need, and,
Right.
like, what, like, their weak spots, what provoke them,
I
what,
think you
like,
talked about
reassure them.
manipulation.
Yeah, you get to manipulation, because if you are emotionally intelligent,
Yeah.
you can whether use it like for a good purpose,
Uh-huh.
and you can like be a good leader in your work, you can be a good salesman, you can be a good negotiator, or you can be a great manipulator.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can talk about Hitler in this case because
Yeah.
he was a fucking great,
Which do you aspire to be, Ikram?
Like first, am I emotionally intelligent first?
Let's assume you are.
Okay. I really lose interest fast in people I can manipulate, and I wanna like be
So
surrounded-
manipulator.
No. So and I like to be surrounded by people that are like I don't they keep me interested.
Uh-huh.
So I would rather use it to a good cause.
Okay.
Like maybe in my work, like working with customers, with partners, with coaches, like in this setting. But no, I don't have an interest in manipulating. However, I use it sometimes with my mom.
Yeah,
Whenever
Mom,
you
if you're
need it.
listening.
Yeah, mom, if you're listening, I know you're not listening. You're not talking to me, but I did manipulate you a few times.
Oh,
You pushed me
yeah.
though.
Yeah, I remember we had a whole podcast
Episode
on
about,
this.
Yeah.
about
Manipulation
influence.
and influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And religion, honestly, and beliefs and
Yeah.
these like icons of the world
Yeah.
are all really about how you use like the things that attract humans or
Yeah.
humans' emotions.
Yeah.
Charisma, that kind of that
Do you see yourself ever being a master manipulator, Emna?
I would love to be one.
Yeah. What would you do? What would be your first order of business?
Ooh. I'll probably start slow, like with, family, but, like,
Controlling the family.
yeah, kind of, just to get them to believe in what I believe in.
Get them to go on holiday more often. Leave you the house.
Exactly. Yeah. All for myself. But yeah, I think manipulation sometimes I'm not gonna say necessary, but it gets you
I think
it gets you to your kind of purpose
Yeah.
or
For
your
sure.
goal.
Yeah.
For sure.
At least the way it makes things easier,
Yeah.
but not everyone can do that.
I mean, in one way or another, whenever we're interacting with other humans, we are trying to get somewhere. Whether
Yes.
it's to advance the conversation, for the sake of friendship, for the sake of like getting something from that person, for informing them about something. There's always a goal behind it, and one way or another, consciously or subconsciously, we always engage in manipulation.
Yeah.
The skill
Yeah.
is active, conscious,
Yes.
educated manipulation.
Yes, I
That's
agree.
the
I
skill.
totally agree. And like the more you observe people around you, the more you try like to guess like their personality and maybe what they like, what they don't like, what make them angry, what like make them happy, make them sad. You start to have leverage over them.
That's true.
Sort of like.
Ikram, you're starting to sound very scary right now.
No, actually, because I don't use it for like bad things, but I can use it for bad things. Like if this like sort of benefit me someday,
How about you, Kevin?
I would do it.
Using like manipulating.
Yeah, if
Oh.
you were a master manipulator, would you use that? Or would
No,
you keep the
man.
skill hidden for
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would
critical
use
scenarios?
it for very necessary reasons.
Yeah.
Like,
That serves
Um,
your purpose, or
Like if I knew how to work an interview situation, that I would absolutely
Yeah.
get the job,
yeah.
and I use manipulation to my benefit. I would see no wrong in that.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, interviews are a game of nerves anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Right, but if you can kind of feel out like what your interviewer is going through and how to work that to your benefit,
Yeah, of course.
you know,
Yeah.
like I think
That's what you see in every cop movie in Hollywood too.
Yeah.
Like how you get the guy to comply. You find out what's
Yeah.
important to him.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And actually, like emotional intelligence as a skill is very in demand nowadays. Like because people like starting sort of to automate some technical skills and like to have like robots and machines taking over some like tasks. Being emotionally intelligent, being like people is people, or like what's like people's person, like I don't know like the term exactly, is like very in demand.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, emotional intelligence. I mean, I think I'm sure we've talked about this before as well, but you know, I feel we're getting more disconnected as technology increases,
Yeah.
and that's you know, like I feel conversation is like a muscle you got to keep flexing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those who do keep that skill, I think they're starting to
Yeah.
have a more pronounced advantage.
Yeah.
And also like as human beings, like with the internet and with like being always on our phone and like be like living in like in small apartments, we started to be like more and more isolated.
Here's a question, guys. I keep hearing this like quite often recently. People that are really, really annoyed with phone calls. They're like, "Why are you calling me? Like, can't you just text me?"
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
that's not me actually.
But
I
you've seen
love
it,
phone
right?
calls.
You've seen
Yeah,
the memes and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
messages
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Facebook. Like, what is so wrong with like the phone calls? Ikram, so that's your case.
Yes, actually
Right.
on my WhatsApp, Kevin like saw it like text only, no voice messages, no
Yeah,
calls.
I don't want
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yes, like and he asked me why. Yeah,
What?
it's like very bothering to me. Like because for me,
No voice messages.
like I have two types
Those
of
are so-
communication. You wanna tell me a message, something, send me text. Simple as that.
Texting takes ages
Oh, yeah.
Or
compared to voice.
like face-to-face communication.
But what if like you're too far? Can they video call you?
That's even worse. That's like the epitome of whatever the Holy Spirit is.
What if I'm in the
It's like-
toilet?
yeah, it's like-
What if I'm showering?
I don't know. Like I do find calls annoying, and actually I noticed that whenever I have like phone call, I would rather not be in the room with another person. So if like you noticed, whenever I have a phone call, I have to go to the other room, and if like another person in the room with me and understand the language, I would rather like them leave the room and then I go back to talking. And like phone calls in general, like really like.
They're frustrating.
No, they stress me out.
But like that's the thing. Like I want to understand the reason why. Is it like the conversation that gives you some extra pressure? Or something?
Yes, like maybe like it has part like that. Like I am a bit shy,
Okay.
Like, and so like being on the phone is like to be very fast, like very like immediate, like say what you have
That's
in
the
your
best way
mind.
to transmit information. That's why I would do phone calls, and I think Kevin does the same too.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you have to say something to coaches, for example, the first method of action is always like phone call.
Yeah.
It's the fastest. You get
I would
immediate
say
feedback.
like
It's great.
yeah, I would say like being nervousness and like stressed out, like very like self-conscious on the phone. But like I got better now. Like
That's good.
it's good. Like okay, call me, no problem.
Yeah.
I think one thing.
Yeah, there's a different type of way you can express yourself through voice than through text. Like text takes a lot of context, so
Yeah.
depending on
like-
the coach that have a shitty day and reads your text, like
Yeah,
fucking
the problem
person.
with texting also like it's very like an opportunity or like a chance for like has higher chance for miscommunication because texts
Right.
are very dry
Yeah.
and you can't hear like the
Depending-
person's tone, the person's body language, like or like
If
Yeah,
only
it
they
all
could
the-
send you some sort of voice message or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
have that.
they have that, yeah.
But
like
it's not natural. To
Well,
me.
and
The
then
voice messages? What bothers you about voice messages?
I do use them, that's the thing, but you don't get like an immediate reaction. Like they can practice how they're gonna transmit the message. You know?
That's
I mean,
true.
In the US, they've been practicing that for like, or the rest of the world. It's like voicemail, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind. I'm not.
They're doing
I'm
that.
thinking it's better than messages, but it's
Yeah.
not better than phone calls.
So for
I'm
you,
saying.
it goes like text messages, voice messages,
No.
phone calls, or
phone calls, yeah, voice messages. I hate
Yeah.
texting. Fucking hate it.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
so
God.
much typing.
No.
I love the typing.
For me, like nothing can beat face-to-face communication, like in person.
Oh yeah, for sure. But these are like substitutes, and we have to
Yeah.
work with them, right? Like unless you can have like all your acquaintances around you at all times.
Then I would be bored and then like
It'd be
ditch
like-
them.
It'd be like Floyd Mayweather and his whole crew flying around.
It's like I would be like, guys, we have been together for a long time.
Get the fuck out.
Space.
All right, all 500 of you, let's go buy bread.
500? No, like
500 friends,
Like
you're-
10.
No, 500 of people I've known in my whole life. All the Beijing people, all the
Probably
people from my
more.
kindergarten.
Probably.
Because they're all on Facebook now.
You can like keep contact with people in the kindergarten.
They're on Facebook, so technically I'm in contact with them.
Were you
You're not
friendly
texting
kid?
Was I a friendly kid?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was shy and like really awkward.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a mean kid.
You were a mean kid.
Yeah,
What do you
I.
mean you were?
You know I don't get offended.
I'm joking.
It's okay. No, like I really was like a mean kid. I once like I was like in this kindergarten and they have like a big playground. They have like this like slide, like and my mom comes and picks me like up like 5 p.m. and I had to play on that slide like and there was a queue and there was like this kid like girl who was like sit like blocking the way to the slide. I was like there and like
boy,
I was like,
where are we going with this?
are you like going back or sliding? I was
Yeah.
like, and I was all I was thinking about.
You
My
like-
mom will come now and will not wait for me. So I bit her.
There.
Yeah, from here like.
Oh
You
my
bet.
goodness.
And you had to go over her shoulder to bite her in her.
And I was like so impatient, so I bit her like from this part.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
From behind.
Her leg?
yeah.
Oh shoot.
Alright.
And I
How's
was
this
grounded.
Hey, Mike
Doesn't
Tyson
hold
used
grudge.
that tactic as well.
No, it was a
Here.
stupid
When
decision,
he's
of course.
frustrated, bite someone.
Yeah.
Shit, one time as a kid, I also like bit a guy because I got my ass kicked in a fight,
Oh no.
and I ended up biting him, and I won because he bled. But he was a big bully, so I don't really regret that.
Yeah.
I think when you're faced with a bully, all weapons are good.
Yeah.
Was your friend on the slide a bully?
No, she was testing my impatience.
Your patience.
No, impatience. Or my patience.
Testing your patience.
Yeah, testing my patience. Like,
Well, she tested both.
yes, like,
She has very good results with that. Yeah. How about you, Emna? What kind of kid were you?
I was that kid that you would look at, you think, oh, she's cute and nice. No.
And then you'd bite them.
No, I wouldn't bite, no, but I would be like mean, but not physically mean. Like I would use very harsh language. I would straight up tell you what you don't want to hear.
Like
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't have anything in mind, but every time I ask someone, you're like, oh, you, like from afar, you're cute and all, but if we get closer and we hear you talk, you're not. I'm like, okay. I'm still that way, kind
People
of.
told you that?
Oh, yeah. Because my childhood friends are still my current friends. I lived in a neighborhood where it was basically a bunch of girls, and we were around the same age, so we would play together ever since I was like 5. So now that we grew up, we talk about like all of that, but
That's cool. So your childhood friends are still your friends.
yeah, and yeah, they have different kind of paths now, but whenever we have the opportunity, that would be nice. Not texting though, I hate going back to that, I hate that.
You know what? Thinking about it now, I actually don't have that many childhood friends, or any,
Oh, really?
left.
Sad.
They didn't die.
Okay.
They all went places.
They just
I don't know
You
what
don't
happened to them. I really don't know most of their names. Like I remember the memory of the person, but like their names kind of fuzzed out throughout the years.
Like
But
you
you know
have
the
this
street.
thing when like you remember like the person's exact face and facial expression but no name.
Yeah.
I do have this every day. Like I do see their face in my mind. Like not only their face but also like expressions but no name. Like
interesting.
Yeah, names are like forgotten by people all the time.
yeah.
I'm good with names.
You are?
Yeah, really.
Oh.
But
Good
I need to
practice,
kind
huh?
of, we need to have this kind of moment. And then it clicks in my mind and I remember the name.
Yeah.
Like a mnemonic device.
Exactly.
You know
That's
that word?
what it is.
No.
It's written mnemonic.
Yeah. P-N-E-M.
Ah, P, yeah.
Huh?
Right? P-N.
Yeah.
No.
It's written mnemonic.
No, no.
Ah.
Mnemonic.
Mnemonic?
M-N-E.
What does it mean?
Mnemonic device is basically something you use to remember something. So like if I meet somebody called Mr. Wild, if I want to remember that, I'd be like wild card. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cards.
Like
Casino.
the wild
Las
card.
Vegas. So I remember Las Vegas super
Oh, there's
well.
a movie about this, right? I don't know.
I'm sure
Haven't
there's
it-
many.
Yeah, I remember like hearing about this word.
Yeah, it's a common like
okay.
technique that
Yeah.
people with good memory use all the time.
Yep.
Like I can never like remember it when I meet people. Like I remember it like 2 minutes after. I'm like, shit, I should have used one. No.
Or one thing that I like to do is, I don't know, it just happens unconsciously, but if you say your name, say, okay, hi, I'm Kevin, I'm like, my mind just goes, Kevin.
Really?
Yeah, and then
Yeah, try
it
doing
just
that
randomly,
in 5
like-
years.
like earlier, Sarah, she introduced herself. At first, I didn't remember it, but then I was like, my mind was like, Sarah. Oh, right. I see. Now I can't forget her name because it was running through my mind. So
Yeah, just make sure you keep control on that. Like, it'll be annoying if you're in a meeting. Like, your brain just keeps repeating one person's name.
Yeah, bye.
oh my god.
And then you confuse them.
then-
Bob Jack. But yeah, I think that's it's a good technique for remembering names. But you don't need it. You just remember names. But that's the technique you
mnemonic
use.
one.
That is, yeah. You do it like without
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it being socially awkward.
I mean, it doesn't work all the time, but most of the time it does.
Yeah.
Especially if we had like a conversation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and otherwise you always have the resort
Yeah.
of like, so you want to add yourself on Facebook?
And then
You
it's
got a
like-
nice name over there.
But it's the worst, like when you meet people and you don't remember their names. Like, it's so
Like, hey, you're super cool. Put yourself on Facebook.
Yeah.
That counts as a compliment, no?
Yeah, Facebook makes it easier. You add like a phone number to WhatsApp or something too. That's easy too. Like
That's assuming you
associating
got the
a
phone
picture
number,
too. Assuming you got the phone. Yeah.
No, I have it all the time. Sometimes like I'm trying to like call your name, Corelish's name, and like I have names mixed in my head.
Yeah.
It's like
For Kevin and Arish,
yes.
that you
like,
see every day.
Yes.
You call Adish Kevin sometimes?
No, it's like not in my head. Like sometimes I'm like going to call you, and like sometimes like I start to call you another name. Like you know, this is Kevin.
Do you call him Jack sometimes? Like, what kind of names does he have?
Like I mix names. Sometimes I'm like.
Mohammed.
I mean, like call him like by try to like in my mind gonna like say a coach's name or like your name or like for like I'm calling the Aries and sometimes like I'm gonna like call her by a coach's name and like or like my sister's name or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, we did make quite a jump from religions to
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This conversation has had an evolution.
Yeah. Because we don't stagnate.
Because what?
We don't like stagnate.
No, we don't. And the pasties helps.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, I think, well, how long have we been going? We've been going on for close to 50 minutes.
Interesting.
Almost an hour?
Almost an hour.
Oh, did you get up and restart the thing?
I did, yes.
Ah.
I did.
When did
Okay.
that
I didn't
happen?
see you.
I
This
know.
is like a
Ninja, we don't see.
Kevin
Whoa.
works in mysterious ways.
Wow, Kevin.
It's like God.
Yeah.
It's funny also that we started talking about like heaven and religion and everything with this gigantic eye right behind us
Just
here.
watching.
That
Um,
sees everything.
Yeah, it resembles those really somber channels on satellite where people just like sit in front of a big eye and talk about like
Illuminati
religion.
shit? What are you talking about?
Well, maybe if somebody sees this like thumbnail somewhere, they'll see like, oh shit, that's my stuff.
Oh yeah, this is my cult.
Do you think?
So if you're watching this and you're in a cult or inspired to
Reach out.
be,
Maybe we should actually start the cult.
Girl.
Wait,
No, I think first we should ask cult
uh,
leaders.
Federal officials, if you are watching this, we did not go with this idea.
We would start.
We're not starting a cult.
No, we would start a cool cult. One that's
Yeah.
that's only about.
Dogs.
Drinking.
Just less cool.
There we
not
go.
cool. Not cool.
Dogs
Drinking.
drinking.
Not cool. No, guys.
No, like
Just
dogs, drinking, cool conversations, and orgies.
Of course, the
Yeah,
girl's
it's
definitely gonna add to that the sexual element. But the dogs would definitely not participate in the
And
orgy. They will stay within
They
They're
will
not
just
part of it.
guard the door
Yes.
unless we have.
All right, so we have a successful recipe for our up and budding cult.
Yes.
Drinking is apparently a big thing.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah, dogs to guard.
Drinking, and something else, and then orgy.
There's a lot of like sexual
Cool
activity.
conversations.
Yeah.
Cool conversations.
Cool
Kind
conversations.
of the intruder in that
Yeah.
group. But
All right,
yeah.
Well, you have your, for anyone watching, you have your recipe for your fun cult.
As a guest, Emna, what did you think about our podcast so far? And be honest, be critical. Come on.
It went very smoothly, and honestly, I enjoyed my time. So
Cool shit. So
It's really good.
you may see Emna again for future
Yes.
episodes.
Like,
Yay!
Cool shit.
Awesome.
Are we gonna be on Spotify for this one?
This will be on Spotify.
Hell yeah!
This will be
Nice.
on all listening platforms.
Oh, nice.
Thanks
Fun.
to Anchor.com.
And this was Mike in a Bottle episode number.
Oh, shit.
Lost count.
Let's say 14.
It can be anywhere between 12 to 15.
Okay.
That's not many. That's like.
I'm
4
sure the
different
description of this little video that you're watching will say the right number.
Yeah.
But
It's not like a.
as we stand right now, I am not very clear.
It's not like a logical, like step-by-step story. so-
I know we've been jumping numbers. We should just like randomly number these things just
Yes,
for fun.
episode 76.
We will
Oh my
never.
goodness.
Yeah, we're
Episode
never.
1022.
We are
Love
never
it.
gonna know what one happened at what time.
Yeah.
I mean, general month of release date. I
Yeah.
think that's all we really care about.
So we meet again next week, same time for episode 1 gazillion.
Then after it, it's gonna be episode 4. So
No, 4.
Alright,
going back.
So look at if you're curious about what episode this is, look down there. And then everybody, it was
it was
a
success.
wonderful day.
Yes, absolutely.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.